on. Our next inductee is one that has passed away. He was with us for a while, then left a stunning impression. Kirk Cottrell from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Now you wonder, we got a lot of guys from South Florida. It's amazing that have been in here. We got Cattree, we got Pat, we got Feinberg, and here we have Kirk Cottrell. Started surfing at about 14 years of age, a bunch of friends in Boca that he surfed with. Jumped up and decided he would open up a surf shop in Pompano Beach in 1978. Had a bit of a rough ride there. He got broken into 4 different times. Decided that was not the place to be, so he moved out of that neighborhood and went on to the current location in Deerfield Beach. Captain Kirk, as he is fondly referred to by many of us that knew him, was a go-getter, a real character. He was out there stirring it up. He and his lovely wife Lou, you see here in the photo, look at that mustache. Where did he get that? Captain Kirk, what a character. He was a promoter. He did surf events. He was in charge of the ESA down in that district. He put his time in. He put a lot of work in growing the sport of surfing. And lo and behold, after a few small East Coast pro events, he decided he's going to take on the world. He hosted the Wave Wizard Challenge 1984 in Singer Island, Florida. Commonly referred to as the No Wave Wizard. And I happened to be the commentator at that event, and I spent 3 days doing stand-up comedy to a crowd of about 4,000 or 5,000 people with absolutely flat surf. The most famous part of that event, which was precedented in surf chronicles around the world, that Kirk Cottrell had hired a sport fishing boat to go out and drive back and forth in front of the reef at Singer Island to produce a surfable wave. Mark Richards went and told the press that story in Australia. Can you imagine the reaction back then? And unfortunately, I was there when it happened, and what really transpired, and this is the first time any of you will ever know this story. We had a fishing boat captain come up and say, I think we can make a wave out there. And Ian Cairns and myself were going, yeah, right, okay, sure. And the guy says, look, I'll do it for free. Ian Cairns, like, his ears perked right up. Ian, money, you talk free, he's in. This boat captain said, if it works, I'll just charge you for the gas. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. And he went out there. Rob McGrath, where are you? Rob McGrath right there was on that boat making surf history. And the ridicule that has never been lived down of the attempt to make a surfable wave with a freaking boat wake. This was, I think it was a 54, 58-foot sport fisherman driving back and forth. Rob McGrath there going, ooh, he had a few drinks on the way out the inlet. But that was Captain Kirk's legacy. He had the surf contest, there were no waves. What happened, they ended up taking everybody in a bus to Stewart with folding chairs. They ran the final with no crowd. Me, I'm left in Singer Island entertaining a bunch of crazy people with nothing. There was no surfing going on. We had interviews, Tom Curran, we did the Tom Curran Breakfast Club. We actually, all the commentators, how many people look at the ASP Tour and the commentary that's going on today? It's excellent. They got the best surfers in the world commentating. We pioneered it. I did. Not to pat myself on the back, I was frantic. I needed something to do. So we literally had 3 microphones with Tom Curran, Barton Lynch, I don't know if Simon got up there, it was the boys, the Hawaiian guys got up there, Buttons. It was amazing. And that was the no-wave wizard, the legacy of Kirk Cottrell, right there. Kirk had a great business there with Island Water Sports, and what did he decide to do? He needed to move. Took the family, uprooted everybody, and moved to South Africa. Let's go hang out at Jeffreys Bay. All right, so that's what he did. Went out there, he's a very religious man, started a ministry, and that was his involvement, and raised one hell of a surfing talent in Shane Cottrell, and passed away out surfing in July 10th, 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting on his behalf, Shane Cottrell.
Thank you so much for everyone for coming out. My name's Shane Cottrell, like they said, Kirk's son. I'm so thankful and stoked I could come out here and accept this award on his behalf. Many of you know, he started a great chain of surf shops, Island Water Sports. We're still running them today. It's a great honor to be able to do that. And like he said, in 1997, we all moved to South Africa. My dad was called there, so he picked up the family, moved us all there. It was a great time. He just felt called to become a missionary and to just serve people over there, you know? And I mean, it didn't hurt that J-Bay, his favorite wave in the world, was only 8 hours away. He could make it there in 5, he claimed, but it was an awesome experience, you know? His energy was contagious, and he was constantly challenging everyone around him, including myself, to push the envelope and to be the best. Whether it was big wave surfing, which he loved, in business or in life in general. He taught me over and over again never to give up. And my father had a deep faith in God, which he shared with all of us. He encouraged us, and he was a super faithful friend. My dad lived, 45 years, and he fit more into that life than most will ever do in twice that time. To this day, 11 years later, after he has passed, strangers approach me and my sisters every day at work, tell me some crazy, far-fetched story that I know is true, but it's just crazy hearing everyone's always new, always crazier than the last. And then there's others that still come to us every day and tell us about how he just impacted their life, even if they only met him once or twice. Growing up in Florida and in South Africa, our house was always dubbed, the Cottrell Hotel. The revolving door, people was always coming in and out. Hospitality was his favorite. My mom always set the table for 7, even though it was a family of 5, just because, there's always someone coming over for dinner. I didn't know who, and that was a cool thing, It was, it didn't matter who. It was either like a hitchhiker that he met that day and became best friends with, or it was, I remember coming home and Kelly Slater would be at our dinner table and I was stoked on that day, It was just, you never knew what was gonna happen. Memories like that is what made him so special. It drove his life, his love of people. Family and friendship was always the #1 priority in life. And this was evident by the way he lived his life. He led by example and made each day count. He truly was larger than life. So, what would Captain Kirk say if he was standing here today? He'd say what a huge honor this is and how stoked he is to be here. He'd happily accept this award for business, and he would be thrilled to be recognized in the surfing world since it was such a big part of his life and who he was. My dad was just, he couldn't help but share the stoked he had about surfing with everyone he met. He gave thanks to God and to his family and friends for their love. And lastly, with my dad, we'd never take an opportunity like this with such a big crowd of people to promote his next event, because that's what he was, a promoter. So I'll introduce our next event. So we're going to bring a Pro-Am contest back to Deerfield on April 1st during the Surfers for Autism event to benefit that. So that's coming up in 3 months. Thank you all. This is huge.